Hey guys, this is Mitch Weissong from Bruiserbulldogs, and with me today is one of our studs. His name is Pumba. I wanted to talk a little bit about what Pumba brings to our breeding program and kind of some of the things that I really like about Pumba. One of the things that I think about when I think about Bruiser Bulldogs and kind of what our ideal is, certain words like athleticism, functionality, lighter wrinkle set, those are the things that we have really centered on as a breeding program, and really it all kind of revolves around what we feel breeds the healthiest bulldog. But when we start to think about some of those words like breathability and athleticism, I think a lot about a lot of the characteristics that Pumba brings to the table as fitting those ideals. Maybe more so than any stud that we have at the time. He really idealizes those characteristics. And so one of the first characteristics when we talk about Pumba is obviously his lighter wrinkle set. One of the first things you're going to notice is that he does have a nose, which is kind of a necessity for a Bruiser Bulldog stud. If you look at his profile, if you look at his forehead, he has a good 1.5 to 2 inches of a nose. And what that really does is that just creates space in his skull structure. And so one of the big issues that you worry about with a bulldog is your elongated soft palate issue. And by having that nose elongated slightly, and what that really does is it creates space inside his throat. It pulls the palate out of the larynx area, and you can kind of listen. If you listen to him, he can breathe for us. He's not going to do it, but he's a really clean breathing bulldog, and you can kind of just hear that there's no air passageways that are blocking. Another thing that he has internally is a really large trach. If you get him, there he goes, he's going to breathe a little bit. If you get him into 90-degree heat in Indiana, he's going to do really well. He's going to be able to run and play and do all the things that a normal dog should be able to do, and that's really one of our starting points with all of our bulldogs and all of our studs. We want them to be able to be functional. We want them to be able to do life with us, and that starts with having a really healthy bulldog. Eyes, another big part of Bruiser Bulldog genetics, does not struggle with entropion. You can kind of tell his eyes are super clean. You can always tell if a bulldog struggles with entropion or optic cilia or something like that that's kind of poking or irritating their eyes. They'll blink a lot. It has super clean eyes, no cherry eyes in the genetics. And so those are some of the things that I think about and really appreciate. From a genetic standpoint, the eyes are just a super irritating thing when you have to have a surgery for an entropion or a cherry eye or something like that. And so really a prerequisite for all of our elite studs is clean eyes. I wanted to touch back on where we got him, which is super interesting. One of the things that we have done over the years and kind of evolving and getting better at our craft is Pumba is actually from Colombia. And so that's something that we have intentionally done over the years, is try to get outside of what I would consider the US mess with English Bulldogs. Here in the US, personally, I feel like there is too much show culture that is still very apparent and causing a lot of health issues within the breed. And so one of the things that we have done intentionally to get away from these bloodlines and also to be mindful of our inbreeding coefficients and try to get blood that is not related to the US dogs is go international. Something super interesting, once you start getting into areas like South America, like Colombia, where it's hot and humid, there's a certain level of natural selection that happens to this type of dog, where you're in 90-degree heat all the time. You're down there by the equator. And so naturally, in that rough of an environment, you're going to have microevolution happen in a natural setting where a poor breathing bulldog is just not going to thrive nor survive. And so there's kind of this natural movement over the last 50 years in places like South America where it is a harsh condition where the Bulldogs are a lot healthier. And you're gonna see that kind of natural process where you have to breed healthy Bulldogs. You have to have a Bulldog that can handle the heat and things like that. And it's super encouraging. It's super encouraging to work with breeders in those areas that understand that, rather than working against breeders here in the US that just simply don't get it or don't care about health. And so that is super important. His location, where he derives from, different blood, not related to US English Bulldogs, still a purebred English Bulldog, still within the AKC registration. And so, but it is kind of cool, just his origins and where he comes from, and then kind of the result of that when you're looking at health and things like that. Just to kind of wrap things up, he is both athletic, but he also still has those Bulldog quirks. You can kind of see he's kind of relaxed right now, but he has a really good balance of being able to play, be goofy, do the Bulldog thing, the Bulldog quirk, but then also just relax and sleep on a Sunday afternoon for 2 or 3 hours and just kind of chill. And so I really appreciate that about a stud that can kind of do both, kind of be able to both play hard, but then also relax with you and kind of just exist with you on a lazy day. Puppies. Lastly, puppies. He throws really, really healthy puppies. Super excited. He's got about 1.5 years under his belt now with us, and there's been 0 red flags as far as health on the puppies. Throws really hardy puppies that are very similar to him, nice big heads, great personalities. The feedback that we've had, like I said, about 1.5 years of dogs now that he's produced, and the feedback that we've gotten from those adopters has been awesome, absolutely awesome. As good of a stud as we've ever had, as good of feedback as we've ever had, just on their personalities, their health, the feedback that we get from vets. It's awesome when you send a pup to another vet and they say things like that's the healthiest Bulldog they've ever seen, and we get a lot from a Pumba pups. Color-wise, and you guys know we're not big on color. We don't intentionally breed for it, but it is fun. He is a carrier of blue, lilac, quad carrier, so blue, lilac, black, chocolate. He throws all the rare colors and all the traditional colors. And so that's always fun when we get a litter from him, just the mix of colors and the variety and things like that. I think that's it. I don't think I can say enough good things about him. Awesome dog, awesome genetics. We're really happy to have him, and we're gonna have him for many years to come. Thanks, guys.